Friday Night SmackDown tonight once again takes place in the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, inside the WWE Thunderdome. We have a Samoan street fight as our main event tonight, as we have the Universal Champion Roman Reigns teaming up with his cousin once again to face Sheamus and King Corbin in a rematch of what happened last week on SmackDown. You know what's funny? Because WWE, they love their rematches, don't they? They absolutely love their rematches, and they wonder why the ratings go down. It's just ridiculous, these rematches. I remember, when was it? It must have been a year ago, it might have been longer than that, when they said no more rematch clauses in WWE, because they were aware this was a legitimate problem when it came to the way they present their shows. If you lost a title, rematch clause, bang. That was the next pay-per-view booked, or at least the following night on Raw. It's a rematch, we're going to book it for the title. So they got rid of that, and everyone went, finally. They've kind of realised that was a massive crutch for the way they told stories. They got rid of it. And instead, they just do it anyway. So there's even less logic in the storytelling, which to me is bizarre. And I know this isn't a title match, but when this was announced, because this was announced yesterday, I believe, on social media, that we were going to have this Samoan street fight, whatever that means. What's the difference between a street fight and a Samoan street fight? I have no idea. The fact that you have two people of Samoan descent in it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But it's just, as soon as I heard this, and as soon as everyone, to be honest, saw that this was announced on social media yesterday, they went, oh, and there's so much to break down here, right? This is why I'm stumbling over my words. So first of all, it was first reported by Sports Illustrated. So that's what they're saying and going, as first reported by Sports Illustrated, the rematch has been set between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso as they will once again team up to face King Corbin and Sheamus before their Universal Championship showdown at Clash of Champions. How is that something to be reported by Sports Illustrated? How is that breaking news? As first reported by Sports Illustrated, which basically means, if you're not aware, when something is first reported by the likes of Sports Illustrated, or WWE says this was first reported by Sports Illustrated, basically what WWE does is they reach out to Sports Illustrated and they say, this is the main event we're going to do on SmackDown. You report it, because then it makes it feel like a more legitimate sporting event. Like, this was the scoop, Sports Illustrated first reported it. They do the same when they have their Hall of Fame announcements, right? You notice that every time they do these Hall of Fame announcements, they're first reported by a different outlet every time, because WWE gives the information to a different outlet every time. So it'll be like, first reported by Sports Illustrated, first reported by Bleacher Report, first reported by ESPN. It's because WWE gives the information to them. That's how these things work. So as if this was a major story to be first reported by Sports Illustrated. When I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, breaking news. And maybe they just put it to Sports Illustrated so Sports Illustrated could take the heat, because the reaction that this got when they said, oh, tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown, we're having a rematch from last Friday, and it's just going to be a Samoan street fight instead, everyone went, oh, really? Because let's face it, these SmackDown shows recently, you have to give them credit, since they went into the Amway Center, since they've been doing these shows inside the WWE Thunderdome, the Friday Night SmackDowns have been really, really good. And since Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam, these shows have been excellent. They really have been excellent. But they've gone back to their usual tactics of, we're just going to do a rematch, but this time we're going to put a stipulation on it. Samoan street fight, whatever that means. And I almost feel a bit sorry for Sheamus and King Corbin here, because they're just warm bodies, essentially, because the story here is Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, right? They've got the Clash of Champions match for the Universal Championship at the pay-per-view in a couple of weeks. They're telling that story where Roman at this point, he is a heel, but he's on that razor edge. He's not fully heel at this point. He's got just a different attitude. He's got a bit of an edge about him. I think when it comes to Clash of Champions, that's when we're going to see the real official Roman Reigns heel turn, because what's more heel than beating the hell out of your family? That's pretty dark stuff. So I think that's obviously where they're edging towards. But as far as Sheamus and King Corbin goes, what's the point? What is the point? Last week on SmackDown, the match came last week on SmackDown, whereas they started the show, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, enjoyed that opening segment. even now, a couple of weeks into this Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman partnership, it's just fantastic. I think universally, pun intended, everyone on social media, when they see these Paul Heyman promos and the Roman Reigns promos and the pairing between these two, it's excellent. It is very, very good. And seeing Roman with this edge and this darker character is brilliant, and everyone's enjoying it because it's different. It's not being classic goody two shoes shoved down your throat Roman Reigns. It's unique, and it hasn't been done before when it comes to the Roman Reigns character and the top babyface in the company. They haven't had the top babyface in the company turn heel since Steve Austin at WrestleMania 17, and we know how that went. So I think some people are a bit like, oh, is this going to work? But Roman pushed for it. He asked Vince McMahon, this is what I want. I want to be paired with Paul Heyman. I want to turn heel. I'm going to get more over as a heel. Then you can turn me babyface, but I'm going to be the Steve Austin style babyface that once you turn me face, I'm still just what I was as a heel. I'm being me. This is being Roman Reigns. This isn't Roman Reigns changing the character and going heel. They've just said to him, okay, instead of saying suffering succotash and instead of saying I'm not a good guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm the guy, and this is my yard and all those corny stuff, that isn't Roman Reigns. Because whenever you see Roman Reigns in an interview, whenever you see Roman Reigns in a WWE 24 documentary, whenever you see Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns, he comes across as super, super likable because guess what? The guy's cool. He's a cool guy. He's a likable guy. And if anything, it's quite a feat on WWE's part that they made him really unlikable for so many years. It's quite incredible, really, when you think about it. Someone who is cool, someone who is, like, very likable, and you make him feel uncool by trying to make him cool. That is ridiculous. That is the paradoxical view and storytelling of Vince McMahon's idea of what a top babyface should be in the WWE in 2020. And every time I used to look at that, it used to confuse the hell out of me because it's like the Attitude Era never happened. This idea of how to push a top babyface. Because, yes, in the 1980s, Hulk Hogan, goody two-shoes, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, that worked. And then it stopped working. They did it with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, but eventually they both turned heel. But the idea that you're the top babyface, you're squeaky clean and thumbs up, drink your milk, all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure where that came from. But that was the deal. And then you have the Attitude Era, and Steve Austin gets over as a heel. But when he becomes a top babyface, Steve Austin doesn't change his character one bit. The Rock, exactly the same. The Rock was a heel, talking trash. He pretty much buries people on the mic. He got over. They turned him babyface. The Rock didn't change his character one bit. Support for WrestleNews 365 is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, Manscaped, for all of my UK fans out there, Manscaped just launched in the UK. Over here in the United Kingdom, we have gone for years and years and years without using the right tools for the job. But now you can be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing product. But it's not just limited to all of the great fans over here in the UK. This offer goes worldwide, so all of my friends over in America and around the world that are listening to this offer still does apply for you. You can still use our code. But I've got to tell you a quick story first. Now, there have been so many times, right? I'm a guy. You gotta groom down there, fellas, right? That's the most important thing. You gotta keep yourself trimmed. You gotta keep yourself proper. And a lot of the time, I've been guilty of this, of using the wrong tools for the job. I've had incidences, I'm not afraid to say it, where things have been nicked, snagged, or in fact cut down there because I wasn't being careful enough and using the right equipment. Now that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. You don't want to be worrying about cutting yourself down there. Do you know how painful that is? I can tell you, it hurts quite a lot. And I wish and hope to God it never happens to me again, and it won't happen to me ever again because I'm using Manscaped products. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. Big statement, but it's absolutely true. They have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. It's also available around the world as well. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. So those cuts and snags that I was telling you about before are a thing of the past. And let me tell you, when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can get a longer perfect shave. And not only that, you don't want to be cutting yourself and trimming yourself all over the bathroom, getting hair all over the place. That's just disgusting. The lawnmower has a waterproof technology that allows you to groom in the shower, so no more mess. And one of the coolest features, one of my favourite features about the lawnmower, is the LED light which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming experience. So you can shave longer, you can shave more precisely, and you can shave in the shower. What more did I need to tell you? They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and let's not forget about the charging stand. You can show off your mower loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. So, if you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean, and you can get 20% off and free shipping. Yeah, you heard me right there. 20% off and free shipping. All you have to do is use the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. Make your testies their besties. That's 20% off and free shipping. Not only are you getting 20% off, you're getting free shipping as well with the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code 365wrestle. Your balls will thank you. And then something happened. Something happened whereby when Batista and John Cena came around as sort of the top babyfaces in the company in the mid-2000s, it suddenly became 1985 all over again. And I don't know if that's because eventually when WWE turned PG, Vince McMahon went, well, this is how we did it back then, and it will work today. And that's not to say it hasn't worked, because obviously John Cena at the moment is John Cena. He's a megastar, and he's Hollywood. He's the next Rock, isn't he, and all that kind of stuff. But for years, everyone's kind of gone, why are you shoving this guy down our throats in this way? Let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns, and he will be the top star. You don't have to tell us that he's the top star. You don't have to shove it down our throats. So this change in attitude has been so well received, I think, because everyone's just like, great, Roman Reigns is being himself, finally. And you're telling a story that you can kind of sink your teeth into, and it's something different, and it's something we haven't seen on TV before when it comes to the Roman Reigns character. So that's why everything's been so critically acclaimed when it comes to Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman so far, because we've got what we want. We've got what we want. Vince McMahon finally caved in. And you know for a fact that Vince McMahon, when Roman Reigns brought it up, Vince McMahon was like, oh, it's a great idea. It's like something I just thought off the top of my head, and everyone's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's not like we were telling you. The whole audience was telling you for like 5 or 6 years. This is what you needed to do for Roman Reigns. But regardless, when it comes to Sheamus and King Corbin, last week when they interrupted the opening segment between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, I think there was a universal groan of everyone like, oh my God. First of all, I think I got like PTSD of seeing Roman Reigns and King Corbin back in the same ring again. I honestly was like, oh, not again. Because you remember that King Corbin Roman Reigns feud, that went on for, I think it was about 1 million years, maybe a little bit less, but about 1 million years. And you had the dog suit and you had the dog food on the sports-centric presentation of SmackDown on Fox, and I never want to see that again, ever. So when they came out, you went, oh God. And then you saw Sheamus come out, who was just coming off the back of that feud with Jeff Hardy, which felt the same as the King Corbin Roman Reigns feud, in the same way that everyone just went, can we just get this done? Because I'm tired of it and I just don't like watching it. So when they both came out, it was sort of like, oh, here we go. Because they're the sort of go-to SmackDown annoying heels, right? So they were facing off against Roman Reigns and Jey Uso last week, but they lost. They lost. So what is the point of doing the rematch? What is the point? They lost. And last week's main event between these four guys basically followed the same format as the WWE Universal Championship match at Payback, in that 3 guys competed. So Jey Uso faced off against Sheamus and King Corbin, and Roman Reigns was nowhere to be found. He was obviously hanging out backstage. I don't know if this time he hadn't signed the contract, whatever that means, but he was hanging out backstage. And then as the match goes on, eventually as we're getting to the closing moments, Roman Reigns comes out, tags in Jey Uso, spears Sheamus, 1, 2, 3, the match is done. And then we end the show with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso standing tall, and Jey Uso sort of lifts up Roman Reigns' hand. Roman gives him a bit of a look, and we go off the air. So I don't know if they'll do the same thing. I think, to be honest, at this point, if they do the whole Roman Reigns doesn't show up till the end deal again, it will be a bit like, okay, it was cool the first 2 times, we get it. Now it's just annoying. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point of trying to make Roman feel annoying. I don't think they need to, though. Again, just make him, just continue what you're doing right now with making this guy blunt and not talking any crap, and just kind of, he's not, he feels like his mentality of is sort of worn out. You guys, the company was against me kind of deal. That's where they're going with Roman Reigns. When I needed time off earlier this year, you gave my opportunity to someone else, and I got Paul Heyman to get my back now, and that kind of deal. I'm keeping my allies close because I can't trust anyone anymore kind of deal. That's what they're doing with Roman Reigns right now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that, but I just don't see the purpose of this main event. I don't see the purpose. I hate rematches. I hate rematches for the sake of rematches, which is exactly what this is. Nothing last week in that main event screamed, oh, I'll tell you what, I want to see this again next week. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait 7 days to watch this match happen again. But this time it's a Samoan street fight. Great. Whatever that is, I guess it's just a street fight. What makes it a Samoan street fight? Honestly, it's just strange. But I hope that they try and continue this Roman Reigns, Jey Uso story here, because I do like that part of it. I think a lot of people thought, and it was reported, that basically as soon as Roman Reigns won the Universal Championship, it was going to be The Fiend or Bray Wyatt chasing Roman Reigns for the championship, and that is going to be the plan. I think that's going to happen after Clash of Champions. We know we've got Hell in a Cell in October, so maybe they have that match inside Hell in a Cell. I could see that happening. But I think Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso is the perfect facilitator to really complete this heel turn. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, Roman Reigns turning on his family. What's more heel than turning your back on your blood and just beating the hell out of the Usos? I mean, that's brilliant. And Roman Reigns has kind of teased at it in the promos of, it's just going to be the same as like when we were kids. I'll beat the hell out of you, and that's the deal. And last week when Jey Uso raised Roman Reigns' hand, it was kind of like Roman gave him a look as if to say, don't touch me, what are you doing? So I don't know if that will happen post-match tonight. I wish it would. I think because that would cement the Roman heel turn. But I think also it could happen at Clash of Champions 2. I think they have just the regular match at Clash of Champions. Roman Reigns wins, and after the match, maybe he hugs his cousin and says, you did a good job, you fought well, but I was just a little bit better, and then just beats the hell out of him. If this was, I don't know, 15 years ago, he'd beat the hell out of him, and Jey Uso would get blood, and Roman Reigns would go insane. They won't do that, of course. It's PG. But that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Roman really just complete this heel turn. Go right to the evil side and just prove that, no, he doesn't trust anyone, including his family. And there's been some ideas pitched online that I really like with this, that basically Roman Reigns just goes through every member of his family. So he goes through Jey Uso. I don't know when Jimmy Uso is going to return, so that isn't going to happen in a while. Maybe goes through Rikishi as well. Maybe Rikishi makes an appearance to say, what are you doing? Why are you turning your back on your family? Why are you with Paul Heyman? I know Paul Heyman was once a manager of me in WCW, but you can't trust this guy. And then Roman Reigns beats the hell out of Rikishi. And then this all leads to, you guessed it, WrestleMania 37. Who is the family member who is going to put Roman Reigns in his place? That would be The Rock. And I think right now, well, not even right now, for the last few years, the biggest match you can do at WrestleMania, the biggest full-time star right now in WWE is Roman Reigns. That's just a fact. It absolutely is. And the biggest person, obviously, you can bring in that can still do a match is The Rock. And that is a match that The Rock would be interested. He's kind of hinted at it, that obviously he's not done wrestling. He might be retired, but if they give him something that he's like, okay, we can sell out, I don't even know if they'll sell out an arena because I don't think that's going to happen by April, but we can set records, we can get some buzz going, and it's against a family member. I think The Rock would do a Roman Reigns match. I do think so. So maybe that's the story here. He goes through every member of his family until he reaches The Rock. That would be a lot of fun. But as far as this match goes tonight, obviously Reigns and Jey Uso are winning. Sheamus and King Corbin aren't doing nothing. It's just the latest line of King Corbin losing, because King Corbin eventually loses to everyone, right? Lost to Roman Reigns, lost to Matt Riddle, lost to Elias. That's just what he does. He loses now, so he's just more annoying than anything. And can he drop this King gimmick? He's been the King Corbin for about a year now. It's been a year since he won the King of the Ring. The idea that when you win the King of the Ring, you suddenly start wearing a crown and a cape and you walk around with a scepter. I mean, I spoke earlier about Roman Reigns' push being in 1985. So is that King gimmick. It's done. It's old. During the Attitude Era, and I don't want to be one of those people that's, oh, well, in the Attitude Era it was better, because you go back and watch it, in some cases it wasn't. But what I did like about the King of the Ring in the Attitude Era was, if you won it, it was just bragging rights. It was just bragging rights, and it set you up for a push. And he said, guess what? I won the King of the Ring because I'm the best wrestler in WWE right now. Why can't they do that? Or do what they did with Brock Lesnar 2002. You win the King of the Ring, that puts you in the main event of SummerSlam for the Universal or WWE Championship. Do that. Don't walk around with a crown and a scepter and be carried to the ring. And I know from WWE's point of view, they go, well, that's heat. Well, it's not. It's just annoying. It's just annoying. And in 2020, heat you have to be careful with, because back in the day, heat being booed and saying, I hate that guy, was great, because some people still believed, right? Whereas now, heat can be, I hate this, I'm going to turn it off. It's a different kind of heat. It's a different kind of heat, and it's just not enjoyable. So can we drop that? Can we drop that? But either way, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are going to win tonight, and maybe they do some post-match angle that continues the storyline as we head into Clash of Champions for the WWE Universal Championship. But what are your thoughts on the main event tonight, the Samoan street fight between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso against Sheamus and King Corbin? Is it ironic that it just comes days after the parking lot fight on AEW Dynamite between the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz? That was such a big success. I'll leave that one to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys on this channel. If you've enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. It really just help us out here on YouTube, go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.